Hey guys, good evening. Right at 6 o'clock, we're gonna go ahead and get started tonight. This is our athletic parent meeting as we start off the new 21-22 school year. I am recording the meeting, so in case anybody has to duck out or gets disconnected, we'll have the recording and I can share the link, and you can also share it with other families who may not be able to make the meeting this evening. Hey Coach, I see you got your camera on tonight. You just give me a thumbs up that you can hear me this evening. All right, Coach Barker's in the room tonight. He's our athletic director. He's going to be presenting a good amount of the information tonight. And I'm also going to talk for just a moment about some of the protocols that are in place. Our families are likely aware that last year we did not hold any middle school athletic programs in Guilford County. And so we're very excited about the opportunity to relaunch our athletic program. And it's starting pretty soon. And so Coach Barker will give you the details on that. I want to talk to you specifically about how we want to make sure that our program opens safely and stays open. Before I get too far down that path, there is a chat box. So if you have a question that you would like addressed, you are more than welcome to place your question in the chat. I'll be monitoring that, and the correct or appropriate coach will be able to respond to it. Okay, so here we go. The first thing I want to share with families are the Guilford County School Board resolutions that have been passed. So recently, Guilford County the board decided that all students would wear face coverings for any indoor activities. And you guys are aware that this past Tuesday, the county of Guilford actually passed a mask mandate throughout all of Guilford County. So we will be wearing face coverings for any indoor sports or activities, classes, until further notice. The other board resolution is that they are really interested in keeping kids not just on the field, but in the classroom. And so they are asking that every student athlete share with the school if they are vaccinated or not. And if they are not vaccinated, then they will need to consent to participating in regular COVID testing. And that'll likely be on a weekly basis. And so as you think about what that might mean for your student athlete, if your student athlete is not vaccinated, there will be opportunities for him or for her to get vaccinated. There will be mobile vaccination sites that will be provided on various campuses across the district. Allen J. Prep will likely be one of them. But if you or your student decides not to get vaccinated, they just need to be prepared to participate in regular COVID testing, which would likely be once a week, done by an outside contracted group. They would come in and test our student athletes to be sure that they can participate. I think the other important thing to consider is that if students are participating in athletics, they are not vaccinated, but they are exposed to someone who tests positive for COVID, it is possible that that student would have to quarantine the exposed student. And if they have to quarantine, that means they're likely going to miss practices, perhaps games, but more importantly, they're going to miss school. So I just want you to keep those things in mind. We really want our students to participate in athletics. We believe there's great value in it, but we want to do it safely. So again, as a family member, as a parent, please consider vaccinations. And as you make that decision, we're going to ask that you share that. And we don't have a way of collecting that information yet, other than when you turn in your physical. If your child has already had the vaccination, you can also turn in their vaccination card or a copy of that. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Coach Barker and let him talk for just a moment about physicals and concussion protocols, and then the practice and tryout schedule. And I will be monitoring the chat, and we'll have an opportunity for question and answer in just a few moments. So Coach Barker, turn it over to you, my friend.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, so workouts are going to start next week. We'll give you the dates in just a second. The things that we mandatorily have to have before they can come out for a workout is we have to have the current physical, which we have been sending out that current physical to you. And if you ever need it, it's on the website under athletics, or you can email myself and I can send it straight to you. So it has to be a current physical and the concussion form. If you've already had one done, get me the copy of it. They're good for an entire 13-month period. So if you got one back in May because you did a travel thing or something, those are good. I just need a copy of it. And we have to have those before they can do the workouts. Like Dr. Wheat said, if you have the vaccination card already, just give me a copy of it. I'll put it with the physical. I'll note that we have it, and it stays in a locked file cabinet with the rest of the physicals. Concussion form is also due. So those things we have to have in place before they can come to the workouts. The workouts will start next week on Monday. They will start right after school. The things your athlete will need with them, besides the physical and stuff, is they need, of course, bring athletic clothes that day. They need to have a mask. And if you're going to come into the gym or anywhere into the building to pick them up or anything, you must wear a mask also. And we will be in mask also. Plus, bring them a water bottle, because we don't have we have filling stations, but those are used for the day. We will have coolers set up throughout the gym so that we will give them water breaks and they can fill up their water. And they'll need a water bottle the entire season, because even when we get into tryouts and we get into the season, as long as it's mandated like that we can't use the water fountains and stuff, it is mandated. Like I have for football, I have what's called a trough where kids can come and squirt water. We're not allowed to use that. So we will have several water stations where they can't all go to the same one. So like outdoors, we'll have about 4 or 5, and in the gym, we'll have 2, so that they can go and be spaced out at the same time. So make sure they have a water bottle. The dates, Monday, I think, is the 16th. Anyone interested in trying out for boys soccer or girls volleyball will go right after school that day, and it will last till 5:30. They will also go again on Wednesday, the 18th. Football will have workouts the Tuesday and Thursday of next week, and nothing on Monday. And then we will start tryouts the following week on the 23rd and 24th. So this, because of COVID and we're not allowed to do anything outdoors until the 23rd, it's kind of pushed us in a bind. Normally we'd let kids try out for cheer, then volleyball, but because volleyball starts so quickly after that, they're going to have to make the decision up front, am I going out for cheer or volleyball? If our numbers are low, we may need to make some concessions for that. But right now, they have to make the decision, am I trying out for cheer on the 23rd and 24th, or am I trying out for volleyball? Then once once they make the team, then we will have a parent meeting. We'll do another Zoom and send you a link. That will be on the 26th, and we'll discuss how to get on Remind, because we're going to do all our communications on Remind and so forth. And all the stuff like pay to play. Y'all don't need to worry about pay to play. That's that $45 fee if they make the team. So you don't have to worry about that until they make the team. There is still a waiver for that. That form is also on the athletic page, or if you need it, I can send it to you. And this year, in the past, we provided mouthpiece and stuff, but we're not going to get involved with that. So the kind of things that you'll need to start planning on getting will be mouthpieces, shin guards, their shoes, and for football, they'll need their own girdle, because we're not going to share any of those things anymore. We provide the uniforms, we provide the transportation, and most of the stuff is provided. Like for football, everything's provided except the mouthpiece and the girdle that they wear. As far as protocols that you need to understand that the coaches will be following, first of all, if we have a case, we send it to Dr. Wheat. We do what the health department says. So if you have somebody sick, don't send them to school. If you have somebody that's tested positive, let us know immediately, because we as coaches are going to be monitoring. We are going to take daily attendance. We have a roster that we're going to give to Dr. Wheat. And because of the mask, water stations, we're going to try to stay 3 feet during drills as possible away from each other. Now that's easier for volleyball and soccer, but of course football, the mask will be off, and you know we won't be 3 feet all the time. We'll probably be 3 inches sometimes, but we'll do our best to maintain most of our drills at a 3 feet. And once we start going and traveling, we're going to have assigned seats for buses, and we're going to take pictures. Hopefully, Guilford County only had 1 cancellation last year due to a team being shut down. So if we're doing the proper things, we're going to have it in place in case we have to make this call. So there shouldn't be a cancellation, and definitely the only reason we would cancel one on a short notice is because 30 minutes before the school day ends, we have a COVID positive and it's got contact tracing going on. That would be the only issue. And then that wouldn't be a game, that would just be a practice situation. If it's a game that day, we notify the county athletic director and he will guide us all in that. The transportation issue has also been asked. If you are not comfortable putting the child on the athletic bus to go to the away event, you are allowed to come pick them up and transport them to the away event. Yeah, I think I've covered all dates and everything I need. Is there anything else, Dr. Wheat?
Thanks, Coach. Hey, I just want to circle back to the vaccination opportunity. And obviously, parents have many different opinions about vaccinations for adults and also vaccinations for kids. I totally get that. But I do want you to consider current guidance says that if a student who is vaccinated is exposed, they do not have to quarantine. So that's one of the big advantages of the vaccination at this point, is that if you're playing football, for example, and we do have a positive case, we go through the list of kids who were in close proximity of that individual. Those that are vaccinated would not have to quarantine. So that kid could, first of all, stay in the classroom, which is great, and then also continue playing. And we're hoping that we can get through seasons. Like Coach Barker said, they had a lot of success last year at the high school level, didn't have to cancel hardly any events, and we're hoping the same. I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute so that we can look at the chat and see what other questions are out there. I know there's some questions about like basketball and wrestling and track and baseball and softball. So all those events are not fall sports. Basketball and wrestling will start about mid-November. Baseball, softball, track will start sometime in February. Wrestling will start about mid-November. So we got a good amount of time until we get there. Our goal right now is to help everybody understand like what the guidelines are for just being able to participate, and encourage folks to get their physicals and concussion forms turned in so they can participate in first workouts, which actually begin next week, and then the following week, tryouts. Okay, I'm scrolling through the chat right now. Coach, there's a question about girls soccer tryouts. So the way that middle school sports works is that boys soccer and girls volleyball are the first sport offered.
Yes, sir.
And then they switch, and then girls soccer and boys volleyball occurs, and they wrap up about the same time that the entire football season is wrapping up. So it's about the last week of September / first week of October that switch occurs, and you have girls soccer and boys volleyball. It says, who do I turn physicals into? You can turn them into the front office. Your student can also turn them into Coach Barker or Coach Shaw. Coach Shaw is our other PE teacher, and he'll be coaching volleyball. So they see one of those two individuals at least every other day. No workouts for cheer. That is correct. Cheer involves, a little bit of tumbling. It involves, well, most of you guys know what cheer involves. So I would say in preparation for that, they could work on any of their gymnastics, stunts, tumbling that they're probably already participating in, and just be prepared for those 2 days of tryouts.
I can help you on some of these. One says, if they miss one practice, can they still work out on the other days? Workouts, you can come to either day. It's not mandatory, but the tryout days are mandatory. You need to try to make sure that they are there for both tryout days. A couple of you asked about physicals that you've done before. As long as it's within the last 13-month period, you can go back to your doctor and they can fill out the form and get that to me. So they're good for 13 months. And yes, you have to have a physical in order to do a workout. Anything you do for us after school, extracurricular activities, we have to have a physical on them, whether they make the team or not.
Yeah, and a lot of these questions, like the dates and things we've shared tonight, it'll also be in the email that goes out. So Monday's email will have these dates again. But again, the tryouts don't start until the week of the 23rd. The workouts are next week. So Monday, Wednesday is going to be volleyball, soccer. Tuesday, Thursday is going to be football. Those are workouts. The following week, all tryouts are the 23rd and 24th.
Another one's asking about equipment storage. All football equipment stays in the field house. Even the stuff that we give to you, we bring it back. As far as the volleyball, we provide knee pads for them so they don't have to bring any of that stuff. Soccer, of course, your shoes, your cleats, your shin guards and stuff like that, you'll have to transport back and forth. We provide the uniform and stuff like that. Trying to get to these, Dr. Wheat.
That's fine. I see a couple of questions about like game times. So we expect most games to start at 5 o'clock, both home and away games. There may be some games that have to start at 5:30 depending on the length of travel. But once we, actually Coach Barker already has the schedule and we can hand that out to players who make the teams. He mentioned pay to play. I want to circle back to that. So you don't have to pay anything to try out. Tryouts don't cost you anything. If your student makes a team, then there is a $45 pay to play fee, and that covers your student for the entire year. So if your daughter, for example, goes out for soccer, volleyball is first, and she makes the volleyball team, you would pay $45. And then she could also play basketball, and then she could play softball in the spring, and there would not be any additional fee. So that is a one-time fee, whether you play one sport or you play 4. But please don't pay that until after your child makes a team.
All right, now there's a lot of questions about the workout. So let me re-give the dates. Monday, the 16th and 18th is boys soccer and girls volleyball. I guess the 17th and 19th is football. Those are the only things that we're having workouts for. Cheer tryouts are going to last the entire week. So they're going to get 5 full days of workouts, conditioning, performance, all that stuff. Practices will start right after school, run 4:30 to 5:30. Tryouts will end at 6, and that will also be the practice schedule for that. We don't have any other workouts for any other sports, okay? We're hoping by them being back in school, and if they play these sports, we don't have to have workouts specific to basketball or baseball or track. We're trying to get them moving right now because most have been sedentary for a little bit of time. So those things will work themselves out as we go through the year. Practices usually run Monday through Thursday. Coaches sometimes will have one on Friday because a game will be on Monday, and if Thursday was real bad, they might practice on a Friday. Typically, we don't practice on Friday, but I'm not saying that doesn't ever happen. Seasons for volleyball and soccer are short. They're about 3 weeks because they're only 7 games, and then they flip, and it's another 3 weeks for the opposite sport. Football will run that whole time. It takes about 11 weeks to get the 7 weeks in. Plus, we don't start till late September with the first football game. I think I've gotten pretty much everything I saw, Dr. Wheat.
Yeah, I see a few other questions about like practices and things like that and where to report. So we'll take care of your kids. Your kids are going to be at school. If they are staying after school for these workouts or for these tryouts, they'll hear messages about where to go. In general, students are going to report to the gymnasium to get dressed. All workouts will be conducted indoors next week. Coach Barker, I don't think there's any workouts outdoors next week. Is that correct?
No, because we cannot be outdoors until after 6, and we have no way to send them home and come back. And there is no bus to take them home after a workout or a practice. So workouts, if you're sending your child to the workouts, you need to pick them up by 5:30. Practices or tryouts, you need to have them picked up by 6.
Yep. So we'll be sure to announce that to kids, but in general, they'll go over to the gym, dress out, report into the actual gymnasium, and coaches will give them directions. There was a couple of individual questions about like, I got a kid who's in a boot. Can he still try out? Just have your student talk to the coach. We want every kid to have an opportunity to try out. And if it's an injury that's going to heal during the season and the student is capable to play, we'll make some concessions for that. How many kids on the boys soccer team? Just depends on how many come out. We normally keep somewhere between 15 and 18. So we hope to have enough to have that many on team. I would say there's a question about practices. So practices, like Coach Barker said, are normally Monday through Thursday. Once the season starts, volleyball and soccer plays like every Monday and Thursday. So they only have an opportunity to practice 2 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday. So I try to have your scholar to make every practice. We typically end by 5:30 or 6 at the latest. So if kids have church or other activities, they should be able to make that as well. When will kids be notified if they made the team? Coaches will either announce it at the end of tryouts or they will post it the following morning.
We're gonna go ahead and let them know at the end of the tryout session, so they don't have to bring stuff unless they need to. There was a question if students can ride home with parents after away games. They can for every sport except football. Football, we have to get the equipment back, and I have to clean it each night. So football, they do have to ride back with us, or some way get the equipment to me. If you want to put them in your car and drive back to the school, because really the only place we got to travel to, the farthest drive we got is Southern Guilford. So no, in Southeast, that's the farthest drive we got. We're away at Southeast this year.
See a question about, can kids play more than one sport like in the same season? The traditional answer to that is no. Students can't really take a spot on two different teams, such as volleyball and cheer. And cheer is, it starts in the fall with football and typically runs through the winter with basketball. But we'll be happy to entertain any specific questions about individual
The other one
students.
said basketball and football. Well, they're not at the same time. So
Right.
sometimes we'll share a track and a softball or a baseball athlete, just depending on, because track's a little different. One kid may only just run the mile, and they may be able to miss that baseball practice to do that. We've worked on situations like that, but that's usually a one type situation. The general answer is like what Dr. Wheat said.
There's a question in the chat. Can my son go to the practice without a physical? The answer is no. They would not be able to participate.
We're going to say this again. Workouts end at 5:30. That is just next week. Practices and tryouts will end at 6. That's the following week. And 6 will be the regular time from there on in. This is just for workouts.
All right, I'm at the bottom of the chat. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording at this time. I'll hang out for a couple more minutes. If you have a question and would like to put something else in the chat, we'll be happy to respond to that. And I don't even mind if somebody wants to turn on a mic and ask a question if it's something that we haven't already answered. So thanks for participating tonight. I'll post the link to tonight's meeting so that others can refer to it. And I'll be sure to share that in the email.
There's one more about the girdle for the pants. Our pants have sewn in knee pads, but if you want extra protection, you certainly can get the girdle that goes all the way down to their ankle now, some of them.